The following is not meant for children, has been edited by Cute Stuff, and is brought to you by support from Patreon. Hello, and welcome back. I am MaesteRAelix, and this is MaesteRAelix's Build Love Time, or better known as MaesteRAelix's BLT. The videos in this series are where I go over character builds for some of my favorite RPGs, and in this video I plan to show you, step by step, how to make a character build that I really enjoy, and explain why I enjoy it, and hopefully you will too. Now, I like to make fun and flavorful character builds, something that leans more into role-playing as opposed to dice role-playing. However, it never hurts to give yourself some numerical advantages from time to time, as a treat. Now, my way is far from the only way to build characters. This is just one character built in a way I think is fun. Hopefully, I've done a good enough job that you would want to play this character too. However, feel free to change things to make it a character you want to play. As I go through this build, I'm going to go into detail about what and why I select the things I do, but what I won't be doing is read the books to you. First off, that's very boring. And second, doing that removes your need to get the books of your own. I love these games and I'd love for you to support the publishers, so go buy their books. Now, let's get these ingredients set out, the toaster warmed up, and the bacon nice and crispy, and build this BLT.
Where are you going? Come back here and fight me, or I'll find you wherever you are, you hear me? Bad form, beachcomber, come back!
The character today is Deathwatch, the persistent hunter, fueled by revenge. This bot's alt mode is a Nile crocodile. Long ago, in a time that seemed more like a dream than reality, an old and tired Deathwatch found himself stalking a young Autobot, his prey, on the edge of some sea on some alien world. Well, there was a scuffle, and the old bot lost his hand. Driven crazy by the sheer gall and audacity of the act, he now pursues his target, the mangler of parts, Beachcomber. So when the young Autobot went to Earth, the clawed croc was sure to follow. So, let's get into this BLT, shall we? The books you'll need to get from Renegade Games to make the characters I've set them out is the Transformers Core Rulebook, Decepticon Directive, Enigma of Combination, Techno-Organic Secrets, and the G.I. Joe Core Rulebook. For those of you that do not want crossover material, the contribution from the Joe book is a single perk, so that can easily be swapped out. Now, let's get started off. Influence. For what I want to accomplish with Deathwatch, I'm going to go with a full 3 influence package. The first is Hunter. This influence is pure flavor and a total win. When you select Hunter, you get to select a specialization in the survival skill, but you don't get any points in it yet. For Hunter, I selected Tracking. This leans well into his, everything. For the next influence, I chose the Dinobot faction influence from Techno-Organic Secrets. Like Hunter, you get a specialization, but get no points invested in it. For this, I chose Camouflage, because he is an ambush predator. Now, for those of you who do not like mixing your Decepticons with Dinobots, I say, why not? Couldn't there be a, unhappy Dinobot that says, I don't want to listen to Grimlock? Well, that's my 2 cents. And last and certainly not least, I chose the Nemesis influence. This is a fantastic influence and actually feels more like a perk. With this, you'll need to pick a specific bot to be your Nemesis, so talk to your GM. But for this crocodile, I already have a few cheeky options, like Sea Spray. But in the end, I went with Beachcomber. Why? Because I think it was funny. Hang-ups. With so many influences, we need to take 2 hang-ups. The first I picked is Violent. The second is the mandatory hang-up from Nemesis. Now together these two pair excellently, making it so this bot gets tunnel vision, and doing anything other than violence against his target is challenging. And I love that. It fits the flavor perfectly. Origin. As always, it seems there are too many perks and not enough levels to get them all in. So, to get a head start on that, I'm taking the Drone Origin from Decepticon Directive. This Origin's perk, A Hint of Independence, allows you to get an extra general perk, but at a cost. You must take a drone imperfection. So for this time, I selected the imperfection Fiercely Independent. Crocodiles, and this old bot, do not play well with others, and he's probably too busy tracking down his targets to even listen to others. Now, as for the perk, there are 3 perks that I want Deathwatch to have, and all 3 could be taken at any time, and those are Now You Don't, Revengeful from Decepticon Directive, and the one I'm taking here and now is Kung Fu Grip from G.I. Joe Core Rulebook. For what I have planned, this perk is flat out amazing. It will synergize with, well, everything, including the theme. Now, being a drone, you're a copy of another origin type. This time, I chose the Fusor origin from Techno-Organic Secrets. This means you're a blend of 2 creature types and get 2 small benefits rather than a single beast form and better perks. This time, I went with a fusion of Swimmer and Quadruped, because gators can swim and they can go on land on their 4 legs. It makes sense to me. With the origin perk Twofer, and the choices we've made, we get a big handful of small benefits. The ones I want to point out are, from Swimmer, all of our natural attacks and melee weapons have the amphibious trait, which means they can be used in and out of water without penalty. This works out well because Fusor, instead of having a vehicle-based ram or flyby attack, gets a special attack that is a natural attack. I'd like to think it's a big mouth full of teeth. And from Quadruped, we get bonuses to the senses of hearing and smell, which, when we get a little bit later on this, meshes excellently. Being a drone, we get our choice of essence and skill points, and for Deathwatch, I'm selecting the Strength Essence and the Might skill. Might is our main combat skill by a mile, so I really want to get a jump on that as soon as I could. Roll. Now for a hunter, there are so many options, but when I started to make Deathwatch, there was something very specific I wanted to do, and that needed me to be a scout. And scout is such a fun and versatile role. First off, it gives you the Cybertronian perk Disappear, and it lets you do just that, disappear. For an ambusher like Crocs can be, this is excellent. The next perk is normally Ally Awareness, but since this bot is on a lonely path, I went with the Decepticon Directive variant, Area Awareness, letting us squeeze a little bit more functionality out of your alertness skill. And speaking of that alertness skill, the next perk is Forward Observation, which gives us more opportunities to raise our alertness skill. And last, and certainly not least, is Keen Sensors. This lets us get a rather great bonus to one specific sense, and since we already have hearing and smell covered by Quadruped, well, I think having keen optics would be nice. But there is an argument to be had about having a keen sense of touch. Talk to your GM. As for the essence and skill points, Scout gives us a speed essence, which I put into initiative, which is always nice, and a social essence, which I'll then use forward observation to put that into alertness. Focus. When I set out to make Deathwatch, all I knew is that I wanted to put this focus together with Nemesis, and this focus is Tracker. These two together form a very focused, single-minded thread, and it is fantastic. The perk it gives, Primary Quarry, while it is not as single-minded as Nemesis, works so well when you use your Nemesis target. However, it does allow you to pick someone other than your Nemesis target, as needed, but make sure you use it when your nemesis does show up. This focus gives us a bonus to our smart essence, which I then put into survival. We have these wonderful bonuses to it, so why not use it? This also, very nicely, puts all of our starting essences at 1, which is a nice bonus for our Energon score. Faction. For this bot, I went with Decepticons all the way. So he gets the faction perk, Hail Megatron, which has a whole suite of fantastic bonuses, but look at the situation in which you can use your infiltration. Gear. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of excited for this gear package for this bot. It is because of this gear package that he is a specific, ticking, semi-mechanical crocodile. So, keep in mind that all our natural attacks and melee attacks are amphibious, and that scouts like silent weapons, there was also a nice limitation on what weapons I could grab. As for the internal weapon slots, I went with a Cybertronian glaive from Enigma of Combination. This weapon is big and nasty and works great as a weapon to stand in for a tail slash. Great to pair with that natural bite attack. And as for the external weapons, and here's where things get really awesome. The first is an Assault Claw from Enigma of Combination. This is an amazing weapon, which sadly takes a hand to be removed. The Assault Claw is also a grappling weapon, which is why I went with Kung Fu Grip. The last is a favorite of mine. I went with an energized close combat blade. And this wonderful weapon lets us pick an element, and I went with Sonic. It lets you target a very rarely used defense, and as for flavor, tick-tock, tick-tock. Who's afraid of this living mechanical clock? Essence Step. Death Watch has a single-minded drive in life, and this has also led to only needing a focus on a small handful of skills. As such, the Essence Step is rather straightforward. As always, I'm going with the suggested spread of 4-3-3-2. However, there is a good argument to be made for doing 3s across the board. I'm giving Strength Essence the +4 because Strength is our main combat skill and yet Scout slowest to gain. We need that front loading. As for the skills, it's +3 to Might, which is our main combat skill, and I added a +1 to Brawn so we can meet the prereqs for our glaive. Then we give Speed Essence the first +3, and for the skills I'm putting 2 points into Infiltration because that's our sneaky ambush skill, and the last into Initiative because we want to have a better chance of going first despite a few things to protect us against ambush. Then I gave the Smarts Essence the next +3. I'm putting all 3 points into the Survival skill, but only one of those is going into the Tracking specialization. He is a tracker at the end of the day. And that means our Social gets +2, and thanks to Forward Observation, I can put those into Alertness. I really like this, thematically too, because he's antisocial and always on alert. Hey, you've made it this far into the video. Thank you for that. Seems like you're liking the video, so please show that you do by hitting the thumbs up button down below. Maybe leave a comment, tell me what you're enjoying. Now with all of that first layer stuff done, let's get into the other levels. This time we only need to get to level 8 to get the complete build. Level 2. Level 2 is kind of amazing. The perk, Mark Target, is like the smallest, weakest form of the way he focuses in on an enemy. Mark Target is for like a battle, Quarry is for like an engagement, and Nemesis is for life. So this fits right in mechanically and thematically. Level 2 also gives us a Speed Essence increase, which I then put into the Infiltration skill. Again, we want to use Disappear well. Level 3. This level gives us the focus perk Studious Measures. Studious Measures is a very useful perk when you want to get information on your primary quarry. This skill can be handy because being a fiercely independent bot, you won't benefit from like analysts giving you tactical information, so you gotta go do it yourself. As for this level's essence increase, you get a +1 to Smarts. This time I'm putting that skill point into the survival specialization of camouflage. We know more about them, and now they know even less about us. I like that balance of power. Level 4. Oh yeah, level 4. Here we can select a general perk. Earlier I mentioned the 3 perks I really want for this bot. Well, now it's time to grab another. This time I went with Revengeful from Decepticon Directive. It is not only delightfully thematic, I mean, he's a tracker with Nemesis because of revenge, but also mechanically this benefits us on the same point. Anyone hurts you, they're added to your list. So this is like a micro version of all the other you have my attention perks. As for this level, we get a +1 to the social increase, and we're going to use forward observation to make that an alertness skill bonus. Level 5. This level now swings us more into the ambush side of things with the perk Hidden in Plain Sight. Its description may be short, but it's always going to be useful and great. Hiding is an infiltration check, which is great because this level is also a speed essence increase, and I'm putting that skill point into infiltration. Level 6. Level 6 is kinda scary, truth be told. The perk Note Accomplices lets you widen your focus of your quarry to their friends, and it's not even spreading yourself thin. This is potent and can really be unsettling to your primary quarry. Level 6 also gives us a strength essence, and I think it's more survivability this time, so I'm putting that 1 point into conditioning, but if you think you need more combat, feel free to put that into might. Level 7. This level's perk, Hindsight, is the only point in this build that I feel doesn't fit perfectly, like everything else has. However, this perk is still crazy good. It's wonderfully narratively driven and can really add layers to a rather straightforward bot story. Level 7 also gives us a +1 to the Smarts essence, and that's once more going into survival. Level 8. Oh yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. Another general perk, and this time I went with Now You Don't. Now we know this was made for scouts. In the book there's a descriptor of scout that's called Now You See Me. It's all right there. So this is an excellent perk for any sneaky ambush guy. All this infiltration is worth it with this perk just tying it all together. As for the essence increase, that's a social essence. So we're once again actually going to make that into an alertness increase. At this point, for what I wanted to do for Deathwatch, I'm done. At the start, all I wanted to do was put Tracker and Nemesis together, but in the end I found this very fun and focus in layers kind of bot. It is a fun and flavorful gear package and can really just dedicate himself to the task at hand. The Kung Fu grip, the Revengeful, it's all just enhances what's already there, and I'm quite happy with how this came out. Alternatives. While I was making Deathwatch, I had come across a few alternative ideas, and for one reason or another I decided against them. But if that works better for you and your setting, do give them a try. One alternative I have was a wolf form and a Predacon instead of a Dinobot, which would have worked out as well, but not as well as this. Another idea was to go bigger with either a behemoth or a monstrosity, which are both great options, and you can get yourself a huge prehistoric crocodile body out of it. However, I went with the Fusor option because I liked those benefits a little bit more. But whatever variation you choose to go with, this is a great core to work around. Well, with all of that being said, here's where I'm going to say, thank you all for joining me. Please remember to like, comment, and of course subscribe. It's a little click for you, but a really big deal for me, and I greatly appreciate everyone who does. And if you've enjoyed this video, please check out the links down below for links to the artist, my editor, my merch market, and of course my Patreon campaign, where you can get a variety of rewards including early access to all my videos. So thank you all for joining me, and I shall see you all on the next one. And I'd like to give a special shout out to all my patrons who help make these videos possible. Aaron Smith, Brian Pelfrey, Chris Armstrong, Dennis Detman, Harry Thompson, and Mark Milius. Thank you all so much for your contributions. I wouldn't have this channel without you. Thank you very much.